The two-time World of Outlaws champion and the iRacing champion, side by side to the stripe in turn number 4. We are underway at Lincoln Speedway. David Gravel takes the early race lead. Rumsey settles into the second spot. Carson Macedo third as they reach turn 3. Macedo to the inside of Rumsey, slides up in front of the 41R. David Gravel leads the opening lap. Rumsey coming back at Macedo, who got a little bit crossed up coming out of turn 4. Carson Macedo again trying to drive around the outside of Logan Rumsey's 41R, makes the pass successfully at the midpoint of the back straightaway. David Gravel leads it. Now Buddy Kofoid to the inside of Rumsey, move Kofoid up to third. Carson Macedo to the cushion in 3 and 4, trying to sail around the outside of Hartlaw, but now Buddy Kofoid to the inside of Macedo, move Kofoid to second. Carson Macedo challenged briefly by the 18 of Sheldon Hodgeshield, and Hodgeshield now feeling pressure from Chase Dietz, who makes the move to the inside into turn 3. No room for the slider there. Dietz catches the wall out of turn number 4, gathers it back in, but Logan Rumsey back to his inside. Chase Dietz tried the slider on Sheldon Hodgeshield for 4th, tapped the wall in turn 2, now gets back by Rumsey. Red flag conditions, multiple cars involved in turn number 4. Gravel low into turn 1, Buddy Kofoid right through the middle of the speedway. Chase Dietz up to challenge Sheldon Hodgeshield. Logan Rumsey feeling pressure from Danny Dietrich. Dietrich trying to get to the inside of Rumsey and to the inside of Chase Dietz. Dietrich good down low out of turn number 4. Kofoid staying right with the race leader, David Gravel. Sheldon Hodgeshield on the cushion. Oh, Hodgeshield into the wall. Sheldon Hodgeshield into the wall in turn number 4. Gravel low, Buddy Kofoid high on the exit of turn number 2 in pursuit. Danny Dietrich resumes his battle with Chase Dietz as they race for 4th, both of them getting a little bit close to 3rd place running Carson Macedo. Dietz to the inside of Macedo, move Chase Dietz to 3rd now in the 23D. Gravel to the bottom in 1 and 2. Carson Macedo a peek to the inside of Buddy Kofoid's number 83. Can't make the pass there. Now Kofoid to the inside of Gravel in turn 3 and 4, racing for the lead. Kofoid slides up in front of the number 2. Buddy Kofoid, your leader on lap number 19. Gravel back to the inside of Kofoid in 1 and 2. Kofoid trying to cross back underneath him. Magnificent racing out in front of this one. David Gravel back to the race lead. Red flag conditions. Car upside down in turns 3 and 4. Multiple cars now. The red flag was displayed before the field got back around to the start-finish line. So Buddy Kofoid is your race leader in car number 83. Kofoid to the middle in turn 1. David Gravel down to the bottom of the speedway. Gravel looking for a run. Nose to tail as they reach turn 3. Kofoid runs the inside lane, David Gravel up on the cushion. Danny Dietrich coming after Logan Rumsey for a top 5 spot. Now Carson Macedo by David Gravel, move Carson Macedo into the 2nd spot. Carson Macedo 2nd, David Gravel back to his inside. They'll go wheel to wheel down the backstretch. Dietz to the inside of Gravel looking for 3rd. He's got it for the moment out of turn 2. Macedo was able to get within 3 car lengths at the entry of quarter number 1. Final set of turns in the Gettysburg Clash. Macedo looks to the inside out of turn number 4. He'll have a run on Kofoid at the line. Buddy Kofoid wins it by 6/100ths of a second. Feature action on night 1 of the HVAC Distributors Morgan Cup weekend is underway for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. KCK the lead as they reach turn 1. Casey Kane leading out of quarter number 4. Chase Dietz in 2nd, now feeling the pressure from David Gravel as they cross the start-finish line. Gravel makes his way to the bottom of the speedway as we go double box on dirt vision. Gravel and Dietz side by side for 2nd. Sheldon Hodgeshield pressured by Troy Wackerman in the battle for the 4th spot. Give the 2nd spot now to David Gravel as they exit turn 4 to complete the 2nd lap. Chase Dietz back in the picture running the low side, and now the top 4 nearly nose to tail in heavy traffic at Williams Grove Speedway. Dietz around the outside of David Gravel looking to reclaim 2nd. Give it to the 23D as they cross under the bridge. Gravel back to the inside of Dietz trying to reclaim that runner-up spot. Gravel will move to the inside into turn number 1. Gravel slides up in front of Dietz, and now Sheldon Hodgeshield trying to get by the 23D as well. Hodgeshield around the outside of Chase Dietz. Sheldon Hodgeshield wheel to wheel with the 23D. They race for 3rd into turn number 3. Dietz slides up. Sheldon Hodgeshield tries to cross underneath him. Sheldon Hodgeshield will be 3rd as they cross the line on lap 12. Sheldon Hodgeshield. The concern for David Gravel now as they exit the 2nd turn. Hodgeshield to the inside of Gravel, slides up the banking. Sheldon Hodgeshield was momentarily 2nd as they cross the line. He has it. Sheldon Hodgeshield now 2nd. Back up front with 7 to go. Here's Sheldon Hutchell to the inside. Can't make the move on Casey Kane. Chase Dietz and David Crowell coming at it. Racing for the third spot. Here's Hutchell to the inside of Kane for the lead out of turn number 4. Can he make it stick? No, he cannot. Sheldon right there out of turn number 2. A move to the outside. Oh, Sheldon Hutchell nearly able to get Casey Kane. Kane fends off the challenge. They race into 3 and 4. Out of turn 2 and down the backstretch. Hutchell can't get by the slower car. Checkered flag will wave, and for the first time in his career, Casey Kane wins with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. HVAC Distributors Morgan Cup feature underway at Williams Grove Speedway. They drag race down the front stretch into corner number 1. David Crowell assumes the early race lead. Troy Wagaman, Freddie Raymer, side by side, battle for position out of turn 4. Gift to the Hefner Racing at 27W. Chad Trout, Carson Macedo get very close down the front stretch. Raymer up over the cushion in 3 and 4. Caps the wall out of the 4th turn, picks the front end up off the ground. And now Sheldon Hutchell capitalizes to move by into the top 5. Bill Phalog, Carson Macedo battling with Chad Trout. Macedo drives around the outside of the 1X. Carson Macedo now into the 8th position. We go double box as we watch Danny Dietrich, Chad Trout, and Buddy Kofoid battle. Dietrich has gotten by Trout to move into the top 10. Oh, contact between David Gravel and Brent Shearer. Both drivers keep the cars under control. David Gravel got into Brent Shearer, trying to put the number 12 a lap down. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. In a row down the backstretch. Now Whittle to the inside of Kane. Slide job into corner number 4. Casey Kane trying to come back underneath him. Justin Whittle now up to 2nd. Wagaman now peaks down low in 3 and 4, coming after Casey Kane. Give 3rd to Troy Wagaman Jr. Sheldon Hutchell the next to challenge Casey Kane. Looks to the inside in 3 and 4. He will make the move. Sheldon Hutchell now into the 4th spot. Gravel, a very smooth exit of turn 2 and down the back straightaway for the final time. Whittle with a run out of turn 4, but the Morgan Cup comes to North Carolina. David Gravel wins it.
What's going on? It is Monday, May 11th, 2026. I am Jimmy here with Jay-Z. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight. We've got a great show planned for you. We're going to go recap all the Outlaw events here from the past week here in PA, Lincoln, the Gettysburg Clash, and then the 2 nights. We got both nights in at Williams Grove for the Morgan Cup. Some great races there. We'll also take a look ahead at this upcoming week. We've got another 3-day weekend before we have a big week the following week, but we'll get into that later. We're also going to talk a little bit about the fallen first responders race that's going to be happening at Lincoln. Got a bunch of awesome stuff coming up with that. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit and more. As always, thanks to everybody who tunes in live here on Monday night and joins the conversation with us in the chat. We see you guys: Matt Bird, Marie Beasley, James Magby, Dirt Track Ant, Santos, Mandy, Clayton Myers. Clayton Myers says, "What's up, T2T? These sped up highlights make me seasick." Johnny Gibson channeling the Micro Machine commercials from the 1980s. I speed them up just a little bit just to save a little bit of time. Kirsten, Trevor Stover, Aiden Stoll, what's going on? Matt Trace says, it's my 7th favorite photographer, Jay-Z. At least you're on the list, Jay-Z. That's what matters at the end of the day. Jay-Z, man, how are you doing tonight? You're muted.
Rookie shit. It was one of the Mondays of all time, that's for sure. I'm just happy to be here, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, it was definitely a Monday. How about Ashton? We'll talk about that. Ashton Torgerson, in the 99, he had a great run.
Yeah, we're not short on things to talk about. That's for sure.
There was a lot that happened and a lot of other things that were going on. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? Before we get into everything, we do want to give this shout out. First of all, we got quite a few new followers. So if you're listening for the first time, thank you for joining us. Thanks for following. Thanks for giving a like and subscribing. We really appreciate all you guys. Hopefully, if this is your first time listening, we entertain you and you end up enjoying the show. If not, let us know what we're doing wrong. We don't mind criticism at
No,
all.
I don't really want that. I don't want that shit. Don't tell us what we're doing wrong. I don't want to hear your
You can
bullshit.
tell everybody could tell us what we do everything wrong. It's fine, but again, thanks to all of you. Before we get into everything, Fallen First Responders race at Lincoln on May 30th. They are looking for lap sponsors for both the 410s and 358s. It's $150 a lap for the 410s and $100 a lap for the 358s. Really awesome, like what Don Livingston and everybody there involved with putting this whole week, not even just this race, this whole weekend that's there at Lincoln. And we're going to talk about that towards the end of the show, and talk about it a lot more in the next couple of weeks, as we are also involved. We'll be doing a pre-race show. We can't wait. We did it last year. It was awesome. But if you are interested in sponsoring a lap, they are looking for sponsors. Reach out to us. Reach out to Don Livingston, Lincoln Speedway. Reach out to somebody. If worst case scenario, reach out to us and we'll get you in contact with the proper people. But $150 a lap for the 410s, $100 a lap for the 358s. If you want to sponsor a lap, that would be very much appreciated. Let's get into Lincoln on Tuesday. World of Outlaws. You got the Gettysburg Clash. Buddy Kofoid winning by that much, as you see there on Jay-Z's awesome picture there. Very, very tight at the line over Carson Macedo, Chase Dietz rounding out the podium. Then it was David Gravel, Danny Dietrich, Logan Rumsey, Tyler Ross, 24th to 7th. You're a hard charger. Cam Smith, Casey Kane, and Garrett Williamson, your top 10. Your quick time overall for the night was Danny Dietrich. He also won a heat race along with David Gravel, Carson Macedo, and Sheldon Hodenshield. This was an awesome one. It was a long one, especially for a Tuesday night. It felt like a marathon. Saw 27 cars started. There's a couple pileups. Where do we want to start on this one? Obviously, Buddy's been really good at Lincoln. Congratulations to him. Fuck the Outlaws and all that. But where do we want to start with this? You have the Logan Rumsey stuff. I don't know. Do we want to start there? Because he had a fantastic night.
Yeah, let's start there. So, it's pretty public at this point. If anybody hasn't seen kind of what went down there, Jeremy Elliott did an article on this. Dirt Tracker talked about it. This has kind of made its way around the sprint car world. Logan Rumsey had his 2 rear tires before the A main confiscated because he was wet grinding them with water. Talked to them. I talked to them. Listen to everybody around the country and their takes on this. The Outlaws put this in the rule book this winter, thanks to Clinton Boyles, mostly from the Chili Bowl and his issue, whatever it was. And so wet grinding was added specifically to the World of Outlaw rule book. The Rumseys were not aware of that. So they've been wet grinding tires, they said, since the micro days. They didn't do anything different than they've been doing. Before the A-main, tires were confiscated. They ended up running the feature on used tires, and Rumsey finished 6th against the Outlaws at Lincoln.
Yeah, still a hell of a run.
In a long race with the wrong size tires, basically, not what they wanted. So honestly, it speaks a lot to Logan and his ability, and when the grind that they put in. They got their tires back, by the way, but samples were taken. They're out at the lab. We will see from there. I don't have an opinion on what's going to. I mean, the lab is going to tell us the answer. So, if water is going to make these come back as non-conforming, everybody in the sprint car world needs to be watching this. Everybody needs to be watching this. So what you do at the shop matters. Now, listen, if you did this at the shop, nobody would know that. If you did this before you got to the racetrack, nobody would have known that. Who's to say the tires that got put on that race car weren't wet grinded before this? Nobody knows that. So like it's a weird thing. And then here's the other part, right? The big stink immediately was, why was he allowed to have a spot? Why was he allowed to have a spot? Why was he not DQ'd? Why was he not sent to the rear? If you read the World of Outlaw rule book, there is no specific penalty for this if it's found at the racetrack. There's no written rule that says if this is found, here's the penalty. It
Right.
says it's up to the official's discretion. So the official said, take them off, put these on, you get your starting spot. Simple as that. There's nothing else to that. It just, hey, we don't like that. Don't do that. Take them off, put other ones on, go start the race. Still
Do,
hurt the team in a way because it's not what they would have wanted to run.
do you think after some
But
time here with them running this rule now, because you said it is new, it was something that was added over the winter, do you think that maybe they'll put, because you at the official's discretion could be so wide ranging, it could literally be anything. Do you think they'll put in a specific rule maybe after a year of getting everybody acclimated to this? Now it's on everybody's radar. Maybe they put in a specific penalty, I should say, to the
I
rule.
feel like the recent history says that they're going to have it next week. Like I feel like they don't need
Yeah,
to wait a
that's
year.
true.
I
Yeah.
feel like recent history with some of this stuff when an issue comes up and they make a decision. Again, they went by their rule book, they made a decision, but now it's the court of public opinion, right?
Yeah.
What if this was David Gravel and they let him have his starting spot? What if this was an outlaw? What if this was a high limit guy, right? What if this was an invader starting on the pole and it's a good one? It's the court of public opinion on the conspiracies and favoritism or not favoritism, right? And what official made the call and someone else would have done it differently. So I feel like because it now happened, they did it. They'll probably, in my opinion, they'll probably clarify the rule book. They'll probably make
Yeah.
it, here's the penalty for the infraction. Maybe not though. Maybe it is still like, hey, no, we don't like that. Maybe the samples are enough, right? I don't know. So yeah, Trevor, right? I feel like if you're caught with a bottle of Simple Green, the discretion is different than water. But at the same time, the Chili Bowl thing, right?
Right.
Like, I don't think that they care because now you could just say it's water, but is it really water? It looks clear. It smells clear, but what is it really? And now you got the pit area wondering, well, what was it? So, like, I don't know. I just think that this is the first time it came up live after the rule has been set in place. My again, a total guess. My guess is that they're going to clarify a penalty as well. They'll make that a
Right.
little clearer. That's my first like top of mind reaction. But who knows? I mean, maybe hey, these tires conform. We're moving on. Everybody now knows the rule. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Clayton Meyer says, which tracks and series could align more on these rules? Too much variation to keep up with. Shock adjusters, tire stuff, 360 spins, restarts, work area, etc. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice for some things. I don't think your local track needs to conform to all of these because sometimes having the openness can make things
But they have been. But the history
right.
says they've been following this, right?
Right,
Most of our local
exactly.
tracks allow the shock adjuster now. Most of our local tracks have a consistent 360 rule. Most of our tracks have these rules that either follow, the high limit rule book to the word, basically, or the outlaw one, and they're not that different. But I know that the outlaws and high limit have really been talking from a rule standpoint of not getting too far apart. That's been a thing that they've really said, hey, we want to have some identity a little bit in this, but we don't want to go so far apart that these teams, when they travel around the country, are not up on the rules, because that's a lot to remember. I mean, these outlaw guys just ran Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, turn around in a week and a half or so, and now it's going to be high limit stuff. It can be a lot, and guys are going to get caught up in something. And yeah, it's their job to know the rules, but you can't get that far apart. That would be the problem. Now, honest to God, that would be the biggest problem with this whole high limit World of Outlaw thing. It will be that and hurting the local racer from this standpoint. Someone getting penalized because they have to be a master of multiple rule books.
Right. Yep.
I don't love that. I don't love that for our guys.
Yeah. I think there's certain things, and especially like, our tracks here, yeah, they should be aligning a little bit more. And I think they've done a good job of that for the most part. I mean, there's there's a couple things that they're not perfect, but I think for the most part they've done a good job of aligning with the series that are going to come into their tracks. You know what I mean? So, um, to be prepared for that, but maybe this was something that wasn't part of it. So, um, yeah, pretty interesting. It should not overshadow a fantastic run by Logan. He was super impressive all night. Yeah, he had a good draw to go out earlier in time trials, but he had to go lay down the lap. He had to go race with these guys. Started on the front row next to David Gravel. David Gravel also went back a couple spots. He still finished Logan still finished sixth here. Fantastic night for him. And I think, we've been hyping him up a little bit on this show. We know, we know that the talent is there, and I think the country, you know, got a little bit with the high limit last year when he was in the draw, the dash there at Path Valley, and maybe getting introduced to maybe the more national stage. But this was huge. You know what I mean? This was on a different level, and yeah, just Logan was definitely the most impressive for me. And then to go out after they confiscated the tires, to go out mismatched staggered tires, right? Like they weren't what they wanted to
They weren't
run,
what they wanted for sure,
and they were
and they were
used.
used, and they were used,
So,
right?
and he still goes out and finishes sixth with the Outlaws. Whatever you want to say about the wet grinding, if whatever comes about of the tire test, he still went out on obvious, and did that, and it ended up rubbering up at the end too. So, um, just fantastic run by him. And then the guy that finished right behind him, Tyler Ross. Yeah, there's a little bit of attrition here, but he was digging. Plus 17 spots. He has been so good at Lincoln Speedway. And he continues to prove it. And this was one of the best runs we've seen from Tyler Ross in quite some time.
Yeah, I want to finish up on the Rumsey thing.
Yeah.
And him finishing sixth, most of the spots that he lost were right at the very beginning. He didn't, and once he got into a rhythm, they just kind of kept going. Yeah, Daniel, he got to keep a spot because that's the rule in the Outlaw rule book.
Right.
There is no penalty. The penalty is up to the discretion of the series.
There is no penalty that you lose your spot. That's not
Correct.
No,
it's not doesn't exist.
Yeah,
it literally does not exist. So
the penalty, at least in this case, was him losing his tires that he was going to run.
And putting on used tires that started an outlaw race on the front row. So,
yeah,
I mean, there aren't many other teams up there that had front used tires from a different team, from a different racetrack that were used that they put on for that race. There weren't many in this field. But anyway, Tyler Ross, man, I've been beating that drum all season. I think that he was kind of my breakout for this year a little bit. Like he's a 3-race guy, and it just hasn't kind of all come together yet. And man, I feel like they're knocking on the door, but he's got to put a whole night together, whether that's local, whether that's outlaw, whether that's whatever. And it's just got to be because he started on the front row of a feature at the Lincoln this year and hung around, but didn't quite get the win. It's like, man, like just put it all together in the same. I'm sure Tyler's feeling the same way, but super impressive here. I didn't even realize this till the race was over, and I went, holy shit, 17 spots.
yeah.
But if you look, he only won this by one position. Dylan Norris, 28th to 12th. Now, everybody was on the internet also flapping their gums about provisionals. I don't know why people are so up in arms about it. It's every year they come to PA because there's so many cars.
Yeah.
This is normal. This isn't the middle of bumfuck wherever that there 26 cars show up. Like, I don't know why this is such a big thing. I guess if they generally don't agree with provisionals ever, okay, that's fine. You're kind of like, hey, I'm dying on this hill and I don't love it, but what's the big deal? I mean, and
for a national touring series show like this, I think that's fine.
Yeah. The other part of this, we had guys turn their provisional spot down. Troy Wagaman declined. They said, "No,
he had a
we're
bad
good."
night.
So if they were offered, if teams want to take them, they don't want to take them. The Outlaws offered them. So I don't know, but
and I think it's maxed out now, where basically 28 is going to be the max field. Like I'm pretty sure there's 2 local and then 2 national provisionals. That's all that can be had, and it goes by whatever order, of points. So I mean, to go from 24 to 28 cars, yeah, it's a lot more. But I mean, it's not like we're starting. Port one time started 30 or 31, I think. You know what I mean? So I think that's understandable.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, what else here? Oh, attrition. Should we talk about the attrition? Because
Yeah.
Lincoln Speedway, and maybe I'm wrong, but hasn't the 1A kind of gotten rid of 2 drivers for Lincoln Speedway now?
Yeah, kind of with him and Kale.
Haven't they both ended at Lincoln?
Yeah,
Man, Lincoln Speedway,
unfortunately, yeah.
home turf, 1A driver killer, I guess. But it's really not that. But no, it sucks, man. Those cars were junk. Logan's car, Ashton's car was junk. Balo got caught up in this. Um, just not great. I hate to see it. That was a big one. I still haven't seen a replay, nor have I seen how this started, because it had to start entry to
No.
3 and it ended in the middle of 3 and 4. If anyone was standing there, I would love to know what actually happened. It kind of looked like one ran over another, but I'd love to know if anybody did know. I don't know. What else stands out to you here?
I mean, yeah, there was a couple big wrecks here. Obviously, Cody Hartlaub was pretty
Oh, that's
good early. He got involved with this with I think in the same wreck as Brock and Freddie. There was a couple car pileup on the exit of 4, and then again the one with Logan and Ashton. Bill Balog was caught up in that one. Skylar G in his debut there with the 16C.
That's
Yeah, a
right.
couple
The
big
guys were knocking the
pileups.
wall down. The guys were knocking the wall down all for 4 on their own.
Yeah,
Freddie did it.
Sheldon Hahn.
Cole Macedo did it. Sheldon did it. I forgot about
Sheldon
that.
did it while running up in the top 5. Looked really good and just ate the wall off of 4 and spun.
I haven't seen that in a long time at Lincoln. Usually on like sliders gone wrong, or sliders that couldn't clear, or sliders that like you couldn't quite get the car stopped. But man, to see guys do this on their own off of 4 out, Freddie did it, Sheldon did it, Cole did it, like pretty wild. I mean, it was on the wall in 3 and 4. And I was in 3 and 4 for most of the feature, and I haven't seen it like that in a very, very long time. And
It was very
it did
wide.
end up taking rubber those last 8 laps or so. Honestly, if this thing goes like super green flag long run, I don't know if we get there. But all the yellows, man, the stops and go and the stop and go, and it just I don't think it was good for the racetrack. But shout out Fred Putney, turning it around from a Saturday to a Tuesday, super high wind, sunny, crazy, and he barely touched the racetrack all night. I don't know if did he even touch the racetrack at all. Maybe once, I don't even know, but um, I think we saw a good race for what I've seen it worse for sure.
We got to give a shout out here because I just saw this in our chat. We got our first donation to the page. Daniel Keller, thank you with the super chat. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Says keep up the good work. Really appreciate it, man.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
You're the first
Super
one,
generous.
and yeah, so generous. Thank you so much. Man, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Wow.
Adam Buchanan would like to hear your thoughts on Lincoln's track conditions. Do you think they prepped it different?
Kind of answered that a little bit. And no, I talked to Fred Putney, Adam, about this, and when it was all over, he said the weather always wins. If it's high wind and it's sunny, the weather always wins. It does not matter. The wind is a killer to a dirt track anywhere. But if we go back and look, those heat races were racy. If anybody has not seen this race or hasn't seen this race, if you didn't watch this, go back and watch the heat that has Buddy Kofoid in it, and watch the move Buddy Kofoid made to start from 6th, almost get slid into the wall on the first lap, and end up in the dash. That won him this race. If you want to go watch it, and tell me without very much work throughout the night on the racetrack that this wasn't good. I won't be convinced of it. No one will convince me of it with those conditions. And we still had time trials 13.4, 13.5. Really good for Lincoln. 12.5 is way too fast. 12.7 is way too fast. It would have just been heavy. But you can't convince me these guys running up against the wall. There were sliders. There was guys hitting the wall from driving hard. Like, what else could you want? And if it took rubber after that last yellow, listen, it is what it is. It was a long night of racing without track prep on a weeknight.
I think
they did a great job.
There was no track prep in between. There wasn't much downtime. And it was still very warm. They started a lot of this in the daytime. I think it held up really, really well. I'm surprised it didn't take rubber sooner, to be honest, and I wouldn't have faulted them for it. Um, you don't want to see it happen, and you want to avoid it. I think they did a fantastic job of considering all the circumstances. Weekday show with the World of Outlaws, time trials, and all that. Fantastic job. Santos, I've seen enough this year to say Sheldon and Ripper made the 17 what it was. If he wouldn't have wrecked, he would have been top 3. He would have had 3 top 5s this week. Yeah, I mean, um, they've been really great in that 18. I think they've gone a little bit of a step up from what they were with the 17 towards the end. I feel like they've gotten a little bit more consistency so far this year. Now, Sheldon's still going to Sheldon like he did here at Lincoln, where he's going to be up on the fence and sometimes he's just going to step over that edge and ruin a night. But, that's he's also going to have races this year where he's going to go and lap half the field because he's so fast up on that fence at places. So that's what you get with Sheldon Haudenschild.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've definitely exceeded my expectations so far.
Yeah,
It's
same.
May. It's May. They've exceeded my expectations, and it's May, and we're going to get into Williams Grove in a little bit. But I mean, I'll tell you, Listen, Sheldon wrecking at Lincoln is not something that I'm like going to put him down for because he wrecked out of the lead last year on his own. This year he pounded into Alpha 4 on his own. So like, Lincoln beat Sheldon and Lincoln are not friends, but they've been pretty impressive for sure.
Adam's in the back. Do we want to?
Yeah, I just sent him the link. He said he was free now.
Okay.
We'll bring him in. We're gonna have a surprise guest.
Yeah, surprise guest, kind of last minute. We're gonna take a pause on the Outlaw stuff. We're gonna go to a little bit of a preview for this week. And let me get to the slide here. No.
And the reason is our guest tonight. This is the well, actually, he might have to do his own resume a little bit, but I'm going to give you a preview. He's here to preview Port Royal this weekend on Saturday, the ESS 360s, the Empire Super Sprint 360s. This is the voice of Brewerton Speedway, Adam Buchanan.
Yes, Adam Buchanan with the also with the Empire Super Sprints 360s. What's going on, Adam? Thank you so much for How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. I didn't want to mess with your flow. I was enjoying your talk about Lincoln Speedway and how unique the racetrack was earlier in the week. It was a good show.
Listen, I've been to Lincoln a few times this year. I'd say maybe that was the 5th time, and I've seen like 5 different racetracks, and not many of them have completely been like, man, this was terrible, right? And honestly, the ones that have been the most unique have been weather driven. When it's right, Fred Putney is not going to be a guy who gets it wrong. So, they have dealt with some equipment problems. He said he's down. He said after Lincoln, Tuesday. Oh, I saw him at Williams Grove Friday. So Lincoln ended Tuesday, and he's out grading the track on Wednesday, blew a tire in the grader. Like, he's just been fighting equipment issues. And then, it feels like every race day we're throwing a curveball with weather. It's spring racing in Pennsylvania, and people being critical of the racetracks from March, April, and May. Adam, you're living it. You guys are like barely getting started. We've been doing this now for 8-10 weeks, and people are trying to be critical of the racetracks. And it's like, guys, I don't have a full understanding of it, but I learn every week about it. And I talk to the guys working on it, and, I learn, and they're not making excuses. Right. I heard from the track prep guy. I was standing near a conversation with the guy on Friday night, Williams Grove. He didn't love how the surface was. We're going to be better.
Oftentimes the people with the loudest opinions on the track prep have no idea what they're talking about. It is more of a science and an art than people realize. And especially with these spring conditions, but Mother Nature, let's be honest, didn't give Lincoln Speedway did Lincoln Speedway any favors. And you're right, Putney's probably top. I would put him top 5 best people to prep a racetrack. Period. And so what he was able to pull off despite the wet spring conditions was actually pretty impressive. Because I know from experience, calling a couple outlaw heats and and being the co-announcer to some shows, the Outlaws are very picky on how they want the racetrack. If they think the racetrack's not how it should be, they'll let you hear about it. They're pretty vocal. And so I've been to one race where they just straight out refused to go out. They said, no, this track's not ready. We're not going out on it until it's better. So I got to give him props for getting the track to the level that it was, considering all the rain. And you're right. I mean, up here in upstate New York, we canceled the first probably 3 weeks of the season. We just got our first night at Brewerton in last Friday. And then on Saturday, we had 4 tracks canceled. So it's the nature of the beast, unfortunately, with the weather. But gotta be a little easier on these track prep guys, because it could have been a swamp, or it could have been dry, dusty, couldn't see a thing, and you got neither of those things all weekend up there with Lincoln and Williams Grove. So be easy on the track prep guys.
No doubt. So kind of looking at this weekend, you're going to be at Port Royal. Empire Super Sprints are in town for the first time. Is this ever? I mean, go back into the history books. Is this ever in Central Pennsylvania?
Yep, this is the first time ever. We've been to Sealands Grove a handful of times. I think we've been to the Grove once or twice, but we've never been to Port. This is the first time, and a lot of these guys on our tour are looking at it as a bucket list track. A lot of guys that didn't race with us, throughout the year, or didn't make our opening night event on April 24th because they want to get ready for Port. I'm hearing a lot of guys are making the tow, and not only just driving the 360. I hear a couple drivers are actually going to bring the 410 as well. I'm thinking could be upwards of 5, maybe 6 drivers on our tour might be pulling double duty on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm excited for this one. And I actually heard, and listen, it's not uncommon to have a couple of our guys run double duty as well. I'm pretty confident Chase Dietz will be double duty.
He is.
There's Danny has ran a 360 in the past. I don't know if he has one anymore, but usually not double duty when like this scenario. But we've always saw the 23. Devin Borden would do that. And we've seen some other drivers do it. So, we've talked, for the last couple of weeks kind of about this show coming and car counts, because listen, 360s around here are basically dead. Bedford URC ran Friday night. They had 13 cars, and I think 4 of those were 358s, regulars in that division.
Yeah.
So it's essentially dead. Now there will be some regulars like the Josh Weller or the 7 car. There's a few URC guys, but I mean, kind of what's the vibe of how many you think will be kind of coming from the ESS tour to come down?
I think we'll bring a full field, 24 to 26, maybe a couple more, especially if some PA guys end up, finding a 410. We could be looking at 30. So I'm fairly confident we'll be bringing a full field of race cars. It is unfortunate. We have done it in the past. When I was first getting going with ESS, we did have some like Sealands Grove challenge races where it would be the 358, 360, and that was before you guys made the wing change on the 358. It was those outboarded top wings. So it's tough, and I've talked to my tech director at length about the rules and why we can't allow 358s. We're an ASCS rules package 360 organization. So if we were to open it up for this, then we're opening a can of worms for the entire tour. And we want to be as fair as possible to our guys, because we're towing, anywhere from 5 to 7 hours to come up and put a show on at Port. So I'm fairly confident we'll bring a full field of race cars. It's ASCS 360 rules. I understand there's some people in Pennsylvania upset about, not letting the 358s if they have ASCS heads, which from what I've been told they're very hard to come by. I think our tech director said he's got a set, and he's probably fairly confident it's one of like 6 sets that are like readily available right now. So, I mean, it's a little unfortunate. I don't think it'll hurt our car count too awful bad. And we got some studs on the tour for sure. And I'm sure we'll see some URC cars come out of the woodwork. Robbie Stillwagons that jumped on the ESS tour here and there. And we'll see, I'm expecting more drivers like that where you're like, oh, I didn't foresee him coming out, and he's here. So I know our crew is very looking forward to it.
So give me a couple names. One name that you would consider a favorite in this tour that you're like, hey, this is a guy that could win any race anytime he shows up. And give me maybe a lesser known name that we probably should keep our eye on.
I mean, I'd be remiss, and he'd probably beat me up pretty good if I didn't mention the favorite coming into Port Royal would probably be Jordan Poirier, our three-time defending
Oh,
series
okay.
champion.
I
Yeah.
thought it was Jordan Thomas was going to be the name. Okay.
Yeah, Jordan might be another driver, with Central Pennsylvania roots that will be one to watch out for. But I think Jordan Poirier, far and away right now, is probably one of our better drivers on the tour. He does have some 410 experience as well at Lincoln and some other places. He's one of the drivers that I'm fairly confident might be pulling double duty this weekend. He's another driver who's got a GSR chassis. He actually was one of the first drivers in the 360 ranks on a touring series to jump on the GSR chassis. And we know Brock has had some success at Port with a GSR as well, with a win under his belt. So if I had to put money on a favorite right now, and I'm friends with all the guys on the tour, they're not going to beat me up by saying, I think Jordan Poirier is probably the person I'm looking to make the statement and pick up a win at Port Royal. He's pretty good at these bigger sized racetracks, but that's the beautiful thing about our tour. There's about 5 or 6 guys on a given night, if they hit it right, can win. Another driver who's very good on bigger racetracks is Danny Barron. Danny's also got 410 experience as well. He's very good at one of our bigger racetracks here in the Central New York region at the Fonda Speedway. It's similar size and shape to Port Royal, so his big track program is probably the best on tour. So he's going to be another driver to definitely look out for in the 01 machine. I know, shout out Billy Rowley, he hates the fact that the 01 is as big as it is on the top wing. But you'll see that 01 in contention as well. If I had to give a dark horse, a driver who won our Speed Week last year, and the Port Lighton Punisher, Dylan Zwernick, he's starting to get his big track program put together, so he might be my dark horse pick in the 7 machine. But there's a lot of guys on this tour that can surprise you, and it's tough to not pick Poirier. But again, there's like 4 or 5 drivers. Our opening Friday night, April 24th race at Dundee, we had a first-time tour winner, Jordan Hutton, and he looked pretty impressive as well. So I hate to sound like a homer, but there's like 4 or 5 really decent guys that you could put your money on that might give some Pennsylvania drivers a tough time.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy, I don't know if you looked ahead, but the weather looks fantastic here
Oh,
for the weekend.
Yeah.
Looks warm, looks sunny. We get through a little bit of shitty cold days here tomorrow or Wednesday and Thursday maybe, but and it looks fantastic. Port Royal, I think this weekend is, man, what a show is going. So Jimmy, can you run down what else is going on at Port Royal this weekend? Because is it the Kaufman makeup?
It's the rescheduled Kaufman. Also, it is a PA Posse Sprint Series race, so no Lincoln to compete with. You're gonna have all the 410s in town in Port, and plus another idea, and we'll talk about this later. But Outlaws are at Eldora for Let's Race 2. High Limit is off. I would imagine most of High Limit goes to Eldora, but I would not doubt with Weikert the following weekend to see some High Limit guys maybe in town. I don't know for sure. You haven't heard of anybody, but maybe like a Brent Marks, maybe he chooses to get some laps at Port instead of Eldora. You never know. So it could really, really boost the car count here. And then, like you said, with some guys doing double duty, I think, it's really going to make for a pretty awesome show. $4,000 to win too for the 360s, which is it's really good paycheck, especially compared to around here to what we would normally do for 358. So, yeah, I'm super excited for this.
Yeah, most of our tour shows are 2,000 to win. We got Port's throwing in an extra 2, so it's double the payday. We just had a $4,000 to win show last Friday, and then our Speed Week shows are $2,500 to win. So it is an increased purse for these guys, and a lot of drivers are looking forward to it. As far as the drivers that might pull double duty, I think Jordan Poirier might be one of those drivers that pulls double duty. Danny Barron. I know Dylan Zwernick wasn't even sure if he was going to run the full tour this year. I know he's got a 410. I don't know if he's going to have 2 cars available or not. I have to check with him midweek, but I heard rumblings that maybe, he's looking to get more 410 starts under his belt. He could be another driver that squeaks in a 410 as well. So that's at least 3 that I know of that have them. I know the 98 of Joe Trenka, another driver who's had 410 starts in Pennsylvania. I know he might have one at his disposal. Paulie Colagiovanni, another driver who's full-time with the Empire Super Sprints. I know he's got a 410 at his disposal. So the New York contingent, depending on, because it's early in our season, right? We just talked about it. We're 1 race into our season. It's early for these guys, but depending on how much downtime they have, we might see a great car count because, as you mentioned, Jimmy, it's a PA series race, so we're going to have all the heavy hitters.
Here's the other thing I have. I mean, is it possible for Glenn Stiers to potentially break a Guinness World Record of same amount of cars brought to one racetrack in a night? Can he beat Keith Coons? I mean, he showed up at Lincoln on a random weekend with 3 race cars. So, 2 and basically a third with the 45 car. Is he coming to town? Is he in town? Is he racing this? Do you know what his status is?
I have to check because the racetrack that he owns and runs, Oshweekon Speedway, their main division is 360 sprint cars. So I'm not sure if their season's kicked off yet or if they're close. But that's another great question because a lot of the Oshweekon guys that run with us when Oshweekon's off, you could add another 6 to 8 cars there from the Canadian contingent. So that's something I have to actually do my homework and check to see if Oshweekon's actually started their season or not. But that's a great question. You never know with Glenn. That's the beauty of Glenn Stiers. You never know, depending on where the wind shifts. He could be in a 360. He could be in a 410. I know he's got asphalt cars. He's got asphalt modified. He's got a Pinty series ride. He's got a lot of toys. So you never know. I would never count out the Oshweekon Flyers showing up with a 360 and a 410 and having at it. But his GSR chassis, they're pretty good. I know Jordan Poirier ran a GF1 and a GSR last year, and he made the switch completely. He's full GSR dual chassis, and he's actually tried a new chassis on our April 24th race. And I asked him, what is the difference from the GF1? And he actually said the GSR is actually a little longer. And there's subtle tweaks here and there, but there's something to these GSR chassis. I wouldn't sleep on more people jumping in and making the switch from like a Maxim to a GSR, especially with Brock getting his first win at Port there in a GSR. It kind of really put him on the map.
It's been interesting to me this year, hearing guys, sometimes it's out of necessity, but hearing guys going every night, they're trying a new chassis. It could be a different brand, could be just jumping the same chassis, but a new car. Like it feels like, I don't know. So I always feel like I've heard stories of like, man, I'm not changing a car unless I can't get out of it what I want in this one. Then I'll change cars. Now I'm hearing guys are just new car tonight, new car tonight, new car tonight. You get a chassis and you get a chassis. Like it's crazy to me. And we've heard multiple times this year, first night on a race car and getting the win. Troy Wagaman, he called it the Beijing Bullet or whatever, right? at the first night he ran a Triple X, he won the damn race.
The team special.
And like Brock, right? Was it his first night on that GSR? I think.
I think so.
Or close to.
That's the first time I saw that logo on the car. So
yeah, and like gets a win. So like I don't know if it's just like this mental game that guys put something brand new together, put it in, and they're not overthinking it, or I don't know. But I don't remember hearing that a ton back in the day. And a guy like Billy Dietrich might be able to help us with this answer of like, is this a newer trend that we're starting to see where guys are just on a whim trying it and they get a baseline from the manufacturer and say, here you go, right? Really no testing in a sense and just go do it. I don't know. Maybe haven't watched or paid attention enough with that. But what are the general consensus of the cars in the ESS Tour running? Obviously, we talked about the common or the Triple X, the Maxim, and the GSR, is there a kind of a consensus across the field what most guys are running that or is there some shit maybe we don't even hear about?
It's really all over the board. We have a lot of triple X's. We have a couple GF1s, a couple Eagles still out there. A couple drivers making the switch to GSR. I can actually pull up my spreadsheet and tell you it is literally across the board. There are a ton of different combinations on a given night. There's also, he's going to kill me for this, Panther Frameworks is another chassis maker. They're local here in central New York. They make their own chassis. They do their own engines. It's Sean Donath. And I believe Sean Donath's daughter is married to a central Pennsylvania sprint car driver as well. But yeah, that's another chassis maker that hasn't really broken through past the central New York side of things. But that's another chassis manufacturer. They do a couple random things. You'll see the shark tail at the end of the top wing, and they just do little different stuff with the aerodynamics. You know how Casey Kane's front end had that really like brick looking front nose? They do something similar to that as well. They're another chassis that you normally don't see, and they do some oddball stuff sometimes. So they could be great right off the trailer, and Sean Donath could be a person that you're watching out for. And that's another driver who's had 410 and 360 experience in the central Pennsylvania region. So it's interesting with a lot of these sprint car guys. You wouldn't think, being in upstate New York, Canadian series, having laps in Pennsylvania, but a lot of these guys do. On an off week, they'll come up and run a 410. So
yeah,
I got a DM.
To answer your question, it's all over the board.
Confirming, I got a DM confirming, unless it's the same person. Jeff Halligan ran Panther chassis at one point.
Yep. Jeff Halligan is Sean Donath, who runs our tour and will be driving the 53 car. He's the owner of Panther Frameworks. That's his father-in-law.
Okay.
You know what? And I heard that Dakota told us that. I think earlier in the year that he might run something with some. Yeah, and that's all connecting the dots now. Jimmy, you're gone. Jimmy's dead.
I'm back. I'm back.
Oh,
I'm looking at my roster here. We got a couple triple X's, couple Eagles, couple Panthers, which I just mentioned, a J&J, a JR1, a GF1, a Schnee. Sam Reeks the fourth is running a Schnee. I don't know if he's going to join us this week or not. Ironically enough, Sammy Reeks and I grew up racing quarter midgets together. He's a shoe. So he might be another one of those drivers that might be a dark horse competitor. X1, I know X1's starting to break out here a little bit as well. Jason Barney, he runs an X1 dealership up here, 87 speed. He makes all the titanium parts. You see people like Kevin Swindell special ordering stuff from. He's a former race winner and series champion. So Race and Jason, I know he's on the schneid here a little bit. Davey Franick is another guy you're going to have to watch out for, but no panic, Davey Franick. He goes absolutely everywhere. That's one thing I love about Davey. You'll see him in Pennsylvania. You'll see him in like Missouri racing. He just won a handful of events as well. So there's no limit to the amount of cars we might see. I even got a driver running a cool chassis. You don't see very many of those.
No. Daniel Lee says, I would have lost it if Adam said gambler.
Yeah. Not quite. Close. And we have a couple drivers running Ford engines too. I know that's a hot topic as well. So there'll be at least 4 or 5 Fords in the field.
I'll have to let Brett Perigo know. He's a big Ford guy. Someone just said Tyler Ross is racing 360. So yeah, I think we're gonna see. You might see as big of a field for the 360s, if not bigger than the 410s. It's gonna be pretty, because what the amount of people doing double duty plus all the guys you guys are bringing down. So 30, 35 cars, I would not be surprised with. I mean, which sounds crazy for a 360 race around here, but it wouldn't be surprised me. I don't know if we'll get to that point, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I'm super excited for this one. I'm excited for you guys to come down. We see a lot of new names coming in, and I always love when people do double duty on a night like this.
Who knows? We might finally push forward that rule change. Maybe we'll see 360s take over. I know, and Jay-Z and I have had sidebar conversations with some other Central Pennsylvania friends of ours, and they said, when it was up for the rule change a couple of years ago, it was honestly really thought about, but that would put a lot of drivers who are already on tight budgets out of racing to get all together. So I understand why the 358s are still there in Central Pennsylvania. Breaks my heart a little bit, but
Yeah, and it's been a topic pretty much everybody outside of Central Pennsylvania for as long as I can remember, about why we do it that way. And you know, it's not like it's an uncommon engine. It's just an uncommon engine in a sprint car for the rest of the country. Like it's pretty common in modifieds and in late models. And why not? Why can't whatever? So I get it. But yeah, I mean the can's kicked way far down the road on this, and they've even opened up the rule book a little bit to continue it with the aluminum heads and things like that. And listen, there's some crazy 360s out there in price, right?
Yeah.
Oh
At
yeah,
that
these
point,
Del Parker engines are no joke.
right?
Yeah.
At that point, just go get a 410. And most of these people, most of the division would, if they could buy a hitter 360, they'd go buy a pretty good 410. I'm pretty sure, right? These 358 guys in the chat can tell me, but
sidebar conversations with a couple people in Central New York where it's like at the price of what some of these guys are paying for 360s, and they want that 410 experience. Why are we even running 360s in this area? Why not just jump to a 410? Because you're only spending about that much more. And let's be honest, when you're talking racing, that much more in all reality is not a whole lot of money. I could say that because I don't own a stitch of equipment, right? You get a couple drivers where it's like, that's going to put me out of not racing at all. But, I could see it going that way with the availability of parts and stuff like that. And headers are hard to find, ASCS headers. I could see us jumping up to a 410 down the line only because we have no other option.
right.
Yeah.
So you're going to be in town with this, and you're going to be on you're going to be on the call, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep. I am
Are
the
you
tour
sure?
announcer, so I'll be upstairs rubbing elbows with the guys and on Flow Racing if you can't make it out.
And will you be sharing the call with Earl or Brad Strauser, or is it going to be just you
I
for
have
your
not
division?
discussed that with anybody yet. I don't not work with people. If people want to work with me, I like working with them. If they don't want to touch it and I work it solo, that's how I normally work it. My Friday night home, I was a co-announcer for a long time, and I'm solo up there, so perfectly comfortable working by myself. If somebody wants to jump in and share duties, I've done that with the Super Dirt Car Series as well. It's Super Dirt Car Series announcer. We split duties, so have no problem working with Earl if he wants to work with me. We've never formally met or worked together, but we've crossed paths a handful of times. I've worked at Fonda, and then the next week he's been to Fonda. So yeah, if they want to co-announce with me, I'd be happy to do that. If they want to have me call a 410 heat, I'd be happy to do that too. I'm going down there to have fun and announce ESS, and anything other than that's bonus.
Okay. So we've had one other announcer on this show before, and he was horribly, horribly underprepared for his show. So tell me the format for ESS. What is the format for a night? How are we going to do things?
Yeah, so we've changed that up considerably this year with our format. Every year we have a rules meeting, what worked, what didn't work, and all of it is primarily based on the number of cars we get. So it's timed warm up hot laps. We don't do a hot lap session and then go into time trials. We find that drags the show along. So with us, it is you got to come off the trailer correct. The first time you're going to hit the racetrack, you're timed. So it's timed warm up hot laps. Depending on how many cars we get, it'll be 10 or 8 lap heats. And again, car count is heavily going to dictate how many cars head to the redraw, how many cars in the dash. We do something a little different in years past with our dash. Our dash procedures actually changed again this year. It used to be if you were outside a redraw spot, those were your dash cars, and then the dash winner would start 13th. So it would be 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. That would be your dash. And if you won the dash, instead of starting 18th, you would start 13th. That's how we used to run it. We just changed it up this year. Now, if you don't finish top 2, like with our race at Outlaw, top 4 into the redraw, but the top 2 are locked in 1 through 6. And then 7 through, I think it was 12, you redraw your spot and you're in the dash. And you could either redraw 12 or pick 7, and then you race the dash, and you effectively have a better opportunity to forward your position from 7 on back instead of 13th on back. So again, it's all numbers related. I think they're going to be 10-lap heats. There will be a B. We don't run a C. I don't think we'll have enough cars to run a C, but we will run a B, and we start 24. That is our main event. I'm sure if there's 360s isn't a weekly division at Port Royal, so there won't be any promoters decision or first car out as far as points are concerned. So we'll start 24. If you ran 3/4 the ESS tour the year before and you don't make the show, you could buy in and you have to pay for your provisional, and you start outside the 24 qualified cars. But the big thing with us is the dash. It used to be last year, it was 13th on to 18th, and if you won the dash, you were starting in lucky position number 13. We've changed that this year. We redraw the top 6; they're locked, and then from 7 on back, from 7 to 12, you race it out for your starting spot in the dash. So that's a little something different from like how the World of Outlaws do it. You're not affecting the top 6 spots, but you're pretty close. Starting 7th is a heck of a lot easier than starting 13th, 12th.
Yeah.
So let me check that
math.
It's
Interesting.
Yeah, that checks out. Starting 7th is way better than 13th. Yes, I agree. Okay, so I'm going to get you out of here so we can get this done in a decent hour tonight, and I'll be here till midnight. Here's what I want you to do. The cars are getting roll out for motor heat or hot lap time trials. I want you to pick a driver on your screen, and I want you to read out their intro line, their driver, hometown. What is Adam's cadence on introducing a driver to the Flow family at Port Royal this Saturday for ESS?
Oh boy. All right, hang on. You're gonna make me do some homework now. I'm gonna pull
Doing
up
it on the spot.
the sheet that I use. So being a weekly announcer at a couple places too, and the tour, if you ran a heat race in any race that we've been in on the tour, you are in my spreadsheet. So just to give you an idea, for the Empire Super Sprints, I have 155 names in my spreadsheet.
Oh, wow.
I mean, heck, Stuart Friesen is on this list. And I do that for every division I announce for. So, and then I have another spreadsheet where if you just type in their number, it gives me all their information. So this is what I'll be reading off to you guys. And I'll do a driver that might not get as much pub. So bear with me while I find someone who needs a shout out here.
Jimmy, are you going to Port Saturday?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I just
Without a shadow of a doubt.
I figured so. I think we've all had this one
Yeah.
on our calendar.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm able to make this one, and the weather looks great. I'm excited to get to Port Royal.
I've
been there yet this year.
I'm as jacked up to see Adam's series here, and these guys come down as much as I am for. I'm kind of was happy that the Keith Kaufman got rescheduled, but I'm as excited for both of these divisions. I think it's going to be fantastic.
All right, here we go. You guys ready?
We're ready.
All right.
Lay it on us.
Out of Port Wide in New York, the Panther Frameworks Comparing Insurance Agencies, CCI Companies, Westward Painting Company, MR Garlock, number 7C, it's the Port Leiden Punisher, Dylan Zwernick. Zwernick in the 7C.
Let's go. Adam Buchanan, everybody. Saturday, Port Royal.
Yes.
Empire Super Sprints for the first time ever. Get your ass to Port Royal. It's going to be beautiful. It's Posse Series race. It's Empire Super Sprints. It's the Kaufman. Holy shit, I'm ready. Adam,
I'm
we will
hyped.
see you Saturday, my friend. Thanks for coming in.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys. Great show. I enjoy watching every week, and can't wait to see some of you guys in person. I'm going to have to bring my wallet and buy a couple T-shirts there while I'm there. I know I gotta grab at least a couple driver T-shirts. I got a couple in mind, so I might be going broke here in this trip. I might not be making any money. I'll be spending it all. So
sounds good, brother. Have a good one, man. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one.
Adam Buchanan, ladies and gentlemen. Thank him for that was kind of last minute right before the show. We're like, oh yeah, we need to have Adam on. We were talking about it, and glad that he could join us there last minute. That's why I'm so excited for that this weekend and excited to meet Adam. And yeah, is ESS the new URC? URC is actually part of this show. They're kind of co-sanctioned, I guess. URC's invited. I think just URC just doesn't have cars anymore. I mean, they have maybe 10 guys, really, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's not the new URC. ESS has been around. It's just a New York series for the most part, and they're coming down here to PA to put on a show here at Port Royal. So we'll see. All right, let's go back. Go back to the future. Kind of went back to the future a little bit. We got to talk about Brett Perigo at Lincoln on Saturday or Tuesday. I'm sorry. Our boy, 3 in a row, 5 of his last 6, winner, wingless sportsman division. They ran after the Outlaws. We were so hyped for this. I was getting ready. I was on my couch at home, jumping around. Awesome. He was the show. The camera didn't go off him either, by the way, on Dirt Vision. He started right next to Tony. He had to hold off Tony Jackson early. Was able to hold him off, charged through. He did kind of get into the back of, I can't remember who he passed, who finished second. He kind of got into the back of him a little bit there. He apologized immediately, and that was the only words he was able to get in victory lane, really. So, but man, Brett has been on fire in the swingless sportsman division.
Yeah, he kicked our ass. And honestly, I've been there for a Brett win before, and I've been there for a lot of Brett second places, and and watched him win. And this one felt, at least the ones that I've been witness to, he's won races I haven't seen, Path Valley. This felt like a dominating performance. And I think it looked that way on TV, I believe, but he made like, there was some passing, but like just methodically, car after car after car. And he got to the lead and was just kind of gone.
Oh,
and
he's gone. Yeah.
Whatever he's got going in that thing right now, almost everywhere. I mean, he won at BAPS late last year. He's won at Path Valley twice this year. He's won at Lincoln this year. He's won at all the different tracks. He's due for a Port Royal win again. Has he won at Port before?
No, he hasn't.
No,
right. That's the next step here.
It's the next one, right? So
he'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah, it won't be long. And man, good for Brett, man. He was so pumped in victory lane. He was so happy. Glad, Dad was there. His sister was there. Our buddy Jack, that we do iRacing with, he's in the photography game now. He's doing great on the up and up. We got a victory lane picture with Brett. It was super, super cool to be there and witness it. And it was dominating. And I've seen some dominating performances in this division, and this goes down as one of them. Yeah. And the cars that you'd want him to beat were there. The Steve Wilbers and the Tony Jacksons, and they were all there. The Shear was there. He's been good. And Eric Walker won a race at Path Valley last year, and he passed him for the lead. So he just did a fantastic job.
Yeah. He's been on a tear. Undefeated this year pretty much so far. And going back to last year when he held off Tony Jackson at BAPS and everything, he's going to be he's been awesome. Troy Hockenberry says going to try this weekend to kick his butt. Good luck. I mean, he's been on fire. I don't know if we can say it. Sure, why not? I'm sure people are going to see it anyway. But this did parlay him into a sponsorship. He got a sponsorship from this kind of deal. So good for Brett. Happy for him. Fantastic to see him. Connor Wade could not wait to get out of Outlaw. Shout out for Dirt Vision for at least showing this and everything, but you could tell they could not wait to get out of there. They gave Brett like 5 seconds in victory lane.
If I knew that that's the way that was going to go, just hand the mic to one of our people. They were there.
Yeah.
Like, hell,
but it was still cool. It was still cool that they did it, and but yeah, it kind of stiffed them a little bit. Can we dub Brett the new Tony? I don't know. Tony was still pretty good. If Tony gets around Brett early on in that race, we might be talking about Tony Jackson as the winner. I think it was going to be probably between those two guys. They were pretty fast.
And I did see a press release today, with Tony and Tony kind of was out of the car a little bit, getting back in. They got a new car. Things changed. They're just a little bit off. But listen, if you think Tony Jackson forgot how to drive one of these, you are probably mistaken. These wingless cars. So Brett better keep stepping his game up. Our buddy Brett better not rest on his laurels and think he got it figured out. He better keep working on that thing.
Santos, does Brett have any merch? We used to sell his merch a little bit. He might have a couple shirts, some of the finest shirts you'll see. I don't know if he has any right now. He might end up getting some more. Might have to get some more made. All right, let's go to Williams Grove this past weekend for the Morgan Cup. Friday night, what a show. Casey Kane Friday getting his first World of Outlaw victory of his career aboard the Macri 39M. Holding off Sheldon Hodenshield, David Gravel, Chase Dietz, Troy Wagaman with the top 5. Buddy Kofoid, Darren Pittman, Carson Macedo, Bill Balog, and Donnie Schatz, your top 10. Overall quick time was David Gravel. Heat race winners were Kane, Gravel, Dietz, and Balog. And your hard charger on Friday night was Cam Smith going 23rd to 15th, going +8 positions. Green the checkered the entire way. Casey got out there on the start over Chase Dietz, had to hold off. He had to hold off Hodenshield really at the end, but I mean, Gravel, Dietz, they were all right there as well. This was awesome, and when it comes to just overall vibes, nothing beats a Williams Grove Outlaw race when it's a popular win with the fans. It's so awesome. Nothing else compares to it at all. And this was one of them. Everybody was just happy to see Casey win. And the crowd was loud as hell. And he did a fantastic job. Just got the lead there from the jump and held on to it, and did everything right in lap traffic. Ran a pretty flawless race. Congratulations to Casey in that 39M.
Sorry. Yeah, listen, this was awesome. I think everybody, when this pairing happened, would be like, man, how cool would it be? How cool would it be? And did anybody really, really believe, right?
Absolutely
I don't think anyone in the sprint
not.
car world really, truly in their heart of hearts said, man, this is the combo that's going to click and win right away. That doesn't happen with Anthony Macri jumping in a 71 with, all the right stuff. Remember when he did that?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just happen, right? The best of the best, the combinations matter. We talk about it all the time, that it all matters. They couldn't write a better story. I mean, if this was NASCAR and it was all flipped around, everybody would on whatever social media you want to go to would be saying it was rigged, right? Like Tyler Reddick has all the power because of the lawsuit somehow. The team that sued NASCAR got more horsepower and let Tyler Reddick win. This is Casey Kane, or the world let him win, right? Sheldon let him win, or the Outlaws, did this. That's the story that it would be told if it was NASCAR, because it just doesn't, you can't believe that this actually happened, and it was freaking cool. Obviously, Casey's talked a lot about sprint car racing, and man, you got to do it. Him and Tony Stewart, and Tony got out of doing it, and Tony was like, man, I have a hard time getting back because I got to do this a lot to be good and compete with these guys. And Casey's talked about it, and Casey's committed to the tour a couple years, right? And injury, he's been plagued with injuries and kind of been in and got out and ran full seasons and didn't get the win and show up in a new car, a ride that he's never been in. And he admittedly told Joe Mooney and the team, really, I don't want you changing much. I don't want this to be different when Anthony gets back in. This is his deal. And then he goes to Williams Grove and wins. Come
Yeah.
on. You can't tell me anybody in this chat that said, yeah, that was the pick. I knew it. I believed in it. Unless you're just an absolute homer for Casey Kane, you didn't. We didn't put him in dark horse. We didn't put him in underdog. We didn't put him in favorite. And
Mm-mm.
it's not that an ability thing. It just, listen, when it's been since 1999 when he ran his first outlaw race, it's
Yeah, he's never
27
won
years
them.
later.
Yeah.
Well, why would we think this was the weekend? And he was in
And
top tier. His own equipment was as good as anything in the world.
he
This
only
was
had
awesome.
one other Williams Grove win, and that was back in 2000. Like that
Was it?
far ago.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like almost 25 years apart of getting 2 wins there. Like it's crazy
Yeah.
to think.
Yeah,
I
Travis said 39 is better than 71. I didn't mean that. Travis, when I said that, I'm just saying like Anthony jumped into 71, right? Like it's a good race car and it's a great driver. I'm just saying that like combos and it just doesn't mean it's just going to work. That is what I'm kind of the analogy. If you kind of get where I'm going there, I'm not taking cars and ranking them in a sense, but like
yeah.
just I don't know what it is with Williams Grove. TJ Stutz last year. We had Freddie Raymer, right? Where Fred Raymer way back in the day. Like, what is it with Williams Grove that creates these moments that other tracks just doesn't happen with often?
Yeah.
Is it that much of an anomaly on the course that like rarely do we over the years we've seen drivers dominate at this racetrack, but I feel like in recent history it's kind of been this like when Logan Schuchart surprised Brad Sweet a couple years back. Now that's not necessarily like a huge upset, but that was awesome. TJ last year, I just feel like Williams Grove, man, it's just like this. There's something about it. I know we're in Pennsylvania,
and I'll
but
be
this is why drivers talk about it this way. There's just something about Williams Grove that they get excited for when they come here.
And the heat races were whatever. Like it was just kind of like it's kind of interesting kind of night, but like that feature was just it went green to checkered. They got into lap traffic. These guys were really battling hard. I mean, like Sheldon he saw a gap there off of turn 2 towards the end, and he had to really let off to not slam into the wall. He had a good shot there to get around him, but just couldn't hold it. And these guys were just battling so hard, breakneck speeds. There's nothing like it when it gets like that. And the vibe there, just the crowd to try to get to victory lane was huge. There wasn't one person upset with this. And when that type of stuff happens, there's nothing like it in this sport. I haven't experienced it anywhere else. And it just, you're right. Williams Grove just seems to somehow produce these moments with the Outlaws, and it's just awesome. It was just a fantastic night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone else from this?
Sheldon.
Yeah.
Sheldon, freaking Hodenshield, and Williams Grove. I don't know where this came from. I don't know why this has happened. I don't know what clicked, but National Open last year, everybody was like, holy shit, Sheldon just won the National Open running the bottom. And then he comes back and it's like, holy shit, Sheldon Hodenshield almost won this race. What's going on with Sheldon and Williams Grove? I don't know. It doesn't seem like a Sheldon style track. It whether it's on the top or on the bottom or slow or fast, it just doesn't seem to. What is it with Williams Grove and Sheldon all of a sudden? Two different cars, by the way, right? On the way out of the 17 last year, wins the National Open when it was all falling apart around him in a way, right? After he knew he was leaving, like lame duck scenario, I'm out of here. Everybody knows it. My crew chief isn't with me or what, or was or wasn't, or after that, I don't even know. Chaos around him. He goes out and wins the National Open. Comes back, he's good again. I'm here for it. So are Sheldon fans. They got to be loving it.
Oh, they got to be loving it. I know. We know our boy EJ's real happy. He was probably amped up. Probably wants to see him one spot better here for sure. But he's been, again, he's been kind of the topic of conversation here tonight, where he just like, man, he really came out and showed out and shows a lot of good speed and a lot more consistent this year so far.
And then after that, Troy Wagaman, career best, P5. Chase Dietz,
at least
doing what we expected Chase Dietz to do, right? Hung in there.
Yeah.
Hung in there. Right, exactly, which we'll get to. But this was a great night. Glad I was there. We got a lot of guys, right? I want to just briefly, Cody Hartlaw, great time trial effort.
Yeah.
TJ Stutz in the A, Whitall, Bishop, Hammaker, Brent Shearer, Chad Trout, Dylan Norris. I mean, it very easily, right, could have been a domination, outlaw domination, and I wouldn't call this that. Nor am I going to. And on Saturday, an outlaw won this race Saturday. We're going to get into,
Mhm.
but I would not at all call this outlaw domination. And I think our boys did just fine all week.
Yeah, absolutely. One more thing from this night: Colt Macedo and Freddie Raymer in their heat race. Cole just runs over Freddie going into turn one. Pretty ugly wreck, but Freddie gets right out, starts swinging his helmet at Cole, who's still strapped into the car. He gets Freddie gets DQ'd, which, I mean, the car was destroyed anyway. He probably wasn't going to run, but can't be swinging your helmet like that at somebody who's strapped in like that, So they DQ'd him pretty much immediately. Johnny Gibson went right over, like it was like 5 seconds after it happened, and they DQ'd him. So, what were your thoughts on this? I've only seen replays. We were in the backstretch, obviously. Cole got in there, too hot. It looked like he hit the inside guardrail, got in the Freddie, took them both out.
Yeah, I've had a couple people try to convince me with everything they have that this was a racing deal. And I don't think they understand the idea or the term racing deal. They don't understand the definition of it. Clearly, a racing deal is when two drivers, you make contact and crash one or both over a position they're fighting for. And it was just one of them things. No one did anything malicious. No one really made any mistakes. It was just a racing deal, as we call that. That means there's two drivers that know they're like racing each other.
Mm-hmm.
In no shape, form, or fashion was this a racing deal. This was Cole Macedo trying to get by Doug Hammaker into one and forgot to slow down for the corner and ran over a race car that is a fast race car at Mock Jesus and wiped them both out. Now, he screwed up. He made a mistake. Can anybody tell me otherwise? Because I don't care if he hit the inside wall. I don't care if he hit Freddie first. I don't give a shit which one he did. He screwed up. Absolutely screwed up, and gets out of the car and says Freddie was, closing a hole that was there. Brother, you were not going for a hole. It's not like Freddie is a backmarker car that doesn't go into turn one at a good rate of speed that's competitive. I mean, I don't know where he thought he was going to go, but clearly watching the replay, he was just trying to focus on the 22, got to the end of the straightaway and said, oh shit.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And said, oh shit, it's over. Okay, now the next step of this, Freddie getting out of the car, doing what he did. Listen, whether you love the guy or hate the guy, some people didn't like it. I don't know if I like it or not, but Cole Macedo is a normal size human. Freddie Raymer is a race car size human. If I was Freddie's size, I would have done the same shit. You wiped me out, brother. You're getting one back right here. You just ran a race car into my face, and you're going to get a helmet. I mean, really, the guy, Cole still has his helmet on. What's the big deal? This wasn't a Pittsburgh Steelers Mason Rudolph thing where he gets hit with his own goddamn helmet with his helmet off, right? This wasn't an assault. Like, let's calm down a little bit. But if I was, listen, just show your frustration, man. I don't care. The car's junk. You're DQ'd.
Yeah.
Show your frustration. It didn't carry over into the pits. They went about their night, fixed their cars. Cole went out and took a provisional. Freddie came back for the next night. Let's not make it out more than it is. It's not like this was unwarranted.
No, absolutely not. No, but what they should have
Right?
did is they should have fought on the front stretch. That's what I want to see. That would have made
It's a
made
long
the night
walk
so
to
much
get all the
better.
way back there.
Yeah,
You're not wrong. It's a long walk back to the front stretch. And
let them fight it out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. In a perfect scenario, but I think we both know how that ends up if they're both out of the car. You ever seen those two? It's not a fair fight when it comes to an actual fight. I mean, listen, was it even still equal? You junked my entire race car, you get hit with a helmet on. Big deal. I mean, come on. Was it really fair? Was it really fair?
This was racing. Santos says, what I don't like is swinging on an official after swinging on Macedo. That's fair. I didn't see the swinging on the official.
I think that's overblown. Like they're
Yeah.
mad. You want to get in the middle of it, you might get hit. I guess I don't know. Like you want to break up
Yeah.
a fight, you might get a bump, you might get a bruise. That's fair. I think like he doesn't know who the officials are. He doesn't care. He's mad at the driver.
You could see from a lot of comments here, and I think it's a lot of the sentiment that was from a lot of fans was Freddie kind of getting something that he's dished out at times. And
Sure.
Macedo just being Cole Macedo being Cole Macedo, because he's
Yeah.
this isn't the first time he's done something like this either. So, you don't want to see it happen, but it happened, and I don't blame Freddie at all. You know what I mean? I would be pissed off too. That's what it came to. You know what I mean? I don't disagree with them DQing him, especially if they felt like he did feel a swing on an official. But I could, I'm sure at that point the car's destroyed anyway. Who gives a shit?
Correct.
I'm not coming back out anyway. Whatever.
Yeah, and listen, not saying like condoning hitting an official by any means, but like
no.
official. You're also an official, and you walk in there to do that. Like you're separating a guy. They're actually not fighting because there's only one side. And like, listen, man, I don't know. I don't love that. I don't condone that. I don't want that. But let's not it's not.
Yeah.
He was not going after an official. Like it just wasn't going after an official.
I don't feel that way either. Yeah.
Yeah. What else from this one? Or are we done with this one?
No, let's move into Saturday. David Gravel, Saturday night, whatever. All right. No, but first of all, before we get into David Gravel's win here and talk about the rest of this, shout out to Williams Grove for even getting this race in. It absolutely dumped all night, Friday night, Saturday morning. It was still raining till about noon. And that, I know you said to me when I saw you outside of Victory Lane on Friday night, hey, they're working on getting this sealed over. They're going to work all night and make sure we get it. And God damn it, they did. And they deserve all the credit in the world for getting this in. I had thought there was no shot they were racing.
You were zero. You had very low confidence.
Yeah, there was no way.
I believed you, and everybody in the world had very low confidence. In fact, all I could do is tell you what the track told me. They're going to try like hell, but the weather is going to be the weather. And
yes,
holy crap, did it clear up and end up beautiful. Like, I didn't even realize that. Holy shit. I thought it was going to be one of them like, yeah, the rain stopped, but it's going to be cloudy. It's going to be cool. It's going to be hard to dry things out. And it still was wet, but like, holy shit, did it get nice out.
Yeah. Yeah. They got lucky with the sun and everything for sure. And, they looked at the weather and they got this thing in and without really a delay. It's not like, oh, we had to wait or anything, like, you know what I mean? Fast track, but not like, it wasn't like crazy heavy or anything because they did seal it over. And it ended up being a really, really good track. Not crazy. The downer is David Gravel. We want to see a posse guy win, and especially when you got two posse guys right on his tail, Justin Whittle and Troy Wagaman. I think they're the bigger story here, getting the podium. But let's go through the rest of the top 10. Sheldon Haudenschild, Casey Kane round out the top 5. Carson Macedo, Freddie Raymer, nice bounce back, 7th on Saturday night. Ashton Torgerson in the Moody 99M, second night in that, getting a top 10 here. Danny Dietrich with a nice top 10, and Bill Baylog. Your quick time overall, back-to-back nights, was David Gravel. He also won a heat race along with Justin Whittle, Casey Kane, and Chad Trout. And your hard charger technically was Carson Macedo, going 3 positions, 9 to 6. You see the plus minus. I don't think that tells the whole story necessarily. There wasn't a lot of movers, but who was moving was Justin Whittle at the end. Man, was he digging. He was ripping up on the cushion, and as Gravel was starting to get in traffic more, Justin if he had 3-4 more laps, he was going to be able to make a move on Gravel, I think. But
yeah, great job for Justin. And listen, first weekend on a new car.
Yeah.
Rolled out the 67G. Beautiful race car, by the way, all white. Justin it's simple. It's so clean. Seemed to be in great spirits all weekend. And, this is the potential we've seen out of Justin many times. Justin, we want to see this more, just more consistency. More,
Mhm.
let's put it all together. Let's do this week after week. You're going to find yourself in victory lane an awful lot. And Troy one-ups himself from the night before, career best top 3. Great weekend for Troy Wagaman all the way around. Tuesday, obviously, he just timed so bad he could not dig out of the hole. He almost did, but great runs for Troy. Good time trial efforts. As we know, time trials. There's just a few people who can, not time trial great and still get up to the front or in a dash. I think one of the few in this field. I think there's probably 2 names, because David Gravel doesn't have to worry about it because he always times good. It's Buddy Kofoid and Carson Macedo. They can get themselves in a heat race where they're not in a dash spot and find their way to a dash. You're going to have those nights. Listen, Gravel is an alien when it comes to time trials right now. Like, they can't do it wrong. They're so good. But go back and look at Kofoid on Tuesday, right? Starts 6th in a heat race. The guy ends up winning the feature. He started 6th in the heat, everybody, in an outlaw race. Think about that.
Yeah.
How many guys go 6 to the dash in a heat in an outlaw race? It doesn't
not very
happen.
often.
It doesn't happen for them very often.
Mhm.
But that's how important time trialing is. So when you look at this, look at the top 6 and where they started. Look at this front 6 or 8 cars. This is an outlaw show. If y'all think it's just passing from front to back to front on a half mile, it's not. You better put yourself in position. That's what these guys do. That's why they're the best of the best. And Justin Whittle, Troy Wagaman, look at Freddie, pretty good damn night. Ashton Torgerson, night 2 on a deal that he's never been in before.
Yeah.
Hell of a ride at 99. Shows you what that 99 could be, right? No shot at Kyle, but hey, he doesn't have junk, right? He don't have a lot, but he ain't got junk. Danny, not a horrible weekend. Probably not what he wanted standards wise, racing wise, but our guys were there, man. We were there.
No, 100%. And Justin's in the chat here, and he says 2 more laps, I would have ran out of fuel. So, all right, maybe you didn't need 2 more laps. Santos says, can we dub it as David Gravel Saturday? Absolutely not. We could dub it as FTO Saturday, FDG Saturday, but absolutely not that.
We're gonna name it Bands. We're gonna name it Band Santos Monday soon, fella. Get your gravel love out of the chat.
I mean, we do got to give Gravel a little bit of love here. I mean, he just so fast, time trial, top dog both nights, and just went out and took care of business on Saturday night. He deserved it. That team's been good. He's just the best. They're the best in the country. It's just what it is. And, that's pretty awesome. Again, for our guys, as a consolation of Whittle and Wagman here, getting podiums, showing up like that. But at the end of the day, nobody really had anything for Gravel. Whittle maybe at the end, like I said, but man, Gravel was just on kill from the start.
Santos, listen, man, it's been a day. Okay. It's been a day. No, of course not, brother. Of course not. This show,
anything good.
It's for everybody. Everybody.
That's right. It's for everybody. Anything else from the Williams Grove weekend? Just the whole Outlaw week I thought was really, really great. Great car counts, about 40 every night.
Good
like
crowds.
I said,
Crowds were great.
Crowds are really good. And you knew it after Casey Kane won. how many people were there? It was loud. If you couldn't just tell by the sheer amount of people, but I thought it was a great turnout. And with adversity, even for Saturday, getting it in, just an awesome weekend. I was real excited to see it, and it's always nice when the Outlaws come into town, especially when we got our guys here. They're right up there. This early in the season too. They're right up there in contention. It's a good sign.
The one big takeaway I'll take from this is how much David Gravel is hated in central Pennsylvania right now, because at Lincoln on Tuesday, there was a late one of the yellows near the end where him and Buddy were battling for the lead, and they announced Buddy Kofoid got the lead. The crowd went bananas.
Which was it was puzzling to me. I'm like, why are we cheering
an outlaw
for Buddy,
past
man?
An outlaw, and the crowd went crazy like it was a posse guy.
Yeah.
I was like, Oh, that's the state of the union here. Okay. All right. Like, fair enough. I get it. So, yeah, it's a wild time out there right now.
Tyler Murray said they took our Morgan Cup. Yeah, they could have it for now.
It was
We'll
their
get it
turn.
back.
Listen, it was getting dusty. We've had it for 2 years, didn't we? Right? Like,
Yeah.
was it 2 years?
It might have been 2
Macri.
years. I think last year
Macri
got
and-
rained. Macri and it got
No.
rained out. I think the year before.
Then it was the year.
Think it was-
Well, didn't we make it up? I thought it was 2 years at least if we've had it.
Oh yeah, we usually make it up at summer. Well, Summer Nationals got rained out last year, so I don't know.
I'm just glad we got both nights of the freaking.
That's what I'm
Morgan Cup.
saying. Like
That's been a
it's
minute.
rare.
Yeah.
It's rare for this to get both nights in. So awesome job by Williams Grove. Awesome job by the Outlaws and everybody to get this stuff in. Congratulations, Gravel. Congratulations to the Outlaws for taking it for now. We'll see them back in July. Real quick, points. Williams Grove points. There was a big change here. Troy Wagaman is now your points leader. 215 points over Lance DeWeese. Then it's Freddie Raymer, Dylan Norris, Cam Smith, your top 5. Danny Dietrich, Chase Dietz, Brent Shearer, Justin Whittle, and Doug Hammaker, your top 10. It was Lance DeWeese in the lead going into this. Lance didn't have a great weekend. But Troy had a fantastic weekend and really got built him up a little bit of a lead here too as well as we get into the heart of the season. And then World of Outlaw points. David Gravel's still up there, but I'll tell you what, Carson Macedo is doing a good job of. He had a sneak, like just quiet, like, hey, I'm like 4th, 5th, 6th every night if he's not winning or up on the podium. But like even this week, like he was only 80 points behind coming into this week. He's 88 points behind now. He only lost 8 points, and that's with a Gravel win. Just sneaky, like just been really, really good when a lot of people are expecting the guy in 3rd, I think, to really be the guy to compete. That's Buddy Kofoid, who's 124 points behind. Sean Hodenshield, Donnie Schatz, 180 or so points behind, rounding out the top 5. Then it's Logan Schuart, Garrett Williamson, Cole Macedo, Chris Wyndham, and Spencer Baston, your top 10.
Sprint car fan 2348. Well, spit it out. What's the rumor? Let's go.
With the new driver.
Break
be Greg
the
Wilson?
rumor news. Let's go.
Mm.
What's up?
Yeah, let us know who it is.
Yeah, fill us in.
Real quick, Saturday night also had High Limit, where Aaron Reitzel got the win at Kokomo. Friday night for them got rained out. It was supposed to be a 2-night deal. This was also co-sanctioned with the All-Star Circuit of Champions. And I was telling you what, the All-Stars actually kind of impressed a little bit here. Maybe some of their finishes, maybe not, but some of them came to play. Justin Peck with a nice 2nd place finish. Rico rounding out the podium. Then it's Giovanni Selzi. And shout out Joel Myers Jr. with a top 5, going from 13th to 5th. Chase Randall was your hard charger, 21st to 6th, plus 15 positions. Cale Thomas with the 7th. Parker Price Miller, Brady Bacon, Dason Pursley, and Caleb Henry right there, finishing 11th. This was a fun race. Aaron Reitzel, Quick Time, Peck, Cale Thomas, Parker Price Miller, and Caleb Henry were your heat race winners. And like I said, Chase Randall was your hard charger. Any thoughts from this race? I don't really remember a ton of it. I was watching on the side of that. Just Aaron Reitzel led this thing from the drop, and he's just really, really good right now.
I fell asleep. I think.
Reitzel now is your new points leader for the High Limit Series. Now 9 points over Tanner Thorson. Tanner Thorson did have some misfortune there. There's quite a few wrecks in that Kokomo race. Thorson was one of them, where he broke a front axle. So he loses the points lead here. Obviously, Aaron Reitzel being so good. Rico Abreu is 28 points behind in 3rd. Then it's Gio Selzy, Kerry Madsen, Tyler Courtney, Justin Peck, Dason Pursley, Brent Marks, and Hank Davis. Your top 10 there in points. All right, let's take a look at this more racing coming up this week. Little honorable mention here. The World of Outlaw late models are in the area this week, kind of like a little mini speed week. 5 straight nights of racing. Georgetown Speedway down in Delaware on Wednesday. Their return to Selinsgrove First time since 2019, the World of Outlaw late models have been there. So 6 years or 7 years, just about, making their return on Thursday, Marion Center on Friday and Saturday, and then they'll round out this stint on Sunday at Bedford Speedway. So definitely something to check out. Keep your eye on. If the weather's nice, I plan on going maybe go check this out at Sealands Grove. Awesome for them to get them to come back here. Friday night, York County Racing Club night at Williams Grove, 410 and 358 sprints. We talked a lot with Adam, obviously, about Saturday, so we won't go into much of that, but it is a PA Posse Series race to rescheduled Kaufman. Nice big, I will say this, a nice big purse for this race. It's not just 12 grand to win. It pays well throughout the field. And obviously you have the 360 sprints coming down. Also, this will also be on Flow Racing. And then Sunday, you got a 410 358 sprint race at BAPS. That'll be on PA Posse TV. I'm sure Jay-Z's really excited for this one. Loving the 410 358 combo at BAPS. Another something that we've been pounding the desk for a little bit here for more 358 races at BAPS, and we're going to get another one here on Sunday. So pretty good overall weekend here in PA.
Yeah, I excited for it. Sorry, Tyler, but I might take Friday off just to have Friday off. No offense, love it, love going there, man. But I got to pick a day, and it's probably that because I got to get to Port Saturday, and obviously I'm going to be at BAPS on Sunday, so I'll miss all of you up there Friday. At this point, we'll see how the week goes, but yeah, what a great weekend. The weather looks fantastic. I think. It's early. It's only Monday. Usually I'm like Monday, I'm saying don't panic. It's a long week. So it looks great right now.
It looks like mid 70s, mid 70s sunny, low chance of precipitation between Friday and Monday. So the next 2 days here, we're going to have to fight with some weather, I think. And then hopefully Thursday it moves out and we can get this whole weekend going.
Yeah. Excited for it for sure. Should be great car counts, good crowds. Man, excited for everything this weekend here in Central PA and beyond. There's stuff going around the country.
Yes. And also, we talked about this before, but the NOS Energy Drink Sprint cars are going to Eldora for Let's Race 2. High Limit is off. Their next race will be, and we'll be talking, we have a lot of racing to talk about next Monday, next Tuesday at Grandview, when High Limit comes into town. So again, who knows what happens here with High Limit drivers? If they go to Eldora, maybe some of them are at home and go to Knoxville. So maybe some of them are at home here, closer here, and come to Port Royal, get some laps in before next week. For Weikert, who knows? Something to keep an eye on, that's for sure. I would imagine my gut is most of them will go to Eldora because you don't get many chances to go get laps at Eldora. But who knows what weather brings out there and everything too. So something to keep an eye on, though. That's definitely something interesting because that's a lot of good cars that have to go somewhere. If that will most likely go somewhere, not just sit idle. Tyler Murray, great crowd that showed up at the Hershey Sprint Car Experience on Thursday as well. It was a fun event, although we were missing an outlaw driver. Yeah. I heard David Gravel's car wasn't there at all. I think he was like the only one that wasn't there. I did see him at the Milton. I saw pictures of him. He was with, I think he was with Shearer and Zierfoss at the actual Milton Hershey school talking to kids. But I did see some people say that he wasn't there at the Sprint Car Experience. So it's a little interesting. But it looked like an awesome event. Good weather for the most part, so that's awesome. That's a cool thing that they've been doing every year. It seems like it gets bigger and bigger. So pretty awesome thing that they got going there at Hershey.
The rumor about Gravel not being there or the car or him or the combo was it could be a 50-point penalty is what I've heard.
Really? Wow.
I didn't say it. It wasn't my idea. It wasn't my rumor. I was just told this rumor that it could be a 50-point penalty from the Outlaws for not attending or being there or something.
That's crazy.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Hopefully we'll have to keep an eye on the points because I don't know if that would come out public.
That would be big. That would be big because
It would be big. It could be big, right? Or it could be double secret probation like NASCAR used to do. Like we don't, or a fine or something. Like I don't know, but that was what I was told Friday maybe at the racetrack.
because that would change it. Like I said, Macedo's only 88 points behind, so a 50-point penalty is pretty big. He would still have a lead, but it would be much smaller. So it was a mandatory thing for them, so I would expect repercussions. But like I said, David Gravel, he went to the Milton Hershey School and spoke, so I wonder if he maybe thought that was all he had to do. But I mean, you're in the area. Why wouldn't you just take the car there at least? I don't know. Whatever. Hey, that's not me. That's interesting. That is something I didn't hear of. That's crazy. Daniel Lee says, I would think the high limit guys would go to Eldora to get laps since the next time they come back is Kings Royal Week. I agree. I think most, if any, would go there for sure.
Yeah, and listen, right? The Weikert's a 3-day weekend. Those guys can use the first 2 days a little bit.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
They're going to get their laps, right? And listen, I don't think anyone is a threat to sweep that weekend. So like, hey, let's get our laps in. We'll get our laps in on, day one of that deal. Let's go to Eldora, or maybe they do Eldora on Friday and then come Saturday for Port. Like you could split it. Not that it's far, but it's not that far. So yeah.
And also, who knows if weather looks more iffy out there and it looks good here, that could also influence the decision. So who knows? Yeah.
We shall see.
Before we get to drink it and dump it, like I said, we want to talk about the fallen first responders race at Lincoln Speedway on May 30th. It's coming up here in the next couple weeks. This is an awesome event. We got to be part of it last year. We're going to be a part of it again this year. And we want to just get it out there. First of all, get it circled on your calendars if you're not going to go. It is the weekend after Memorial Day. It is a PA Posse Series race. It's 410s and 358s. There's so much and so many people putting money and their time and resources into this. So whole weekend, and like I said, whole weekend event. Friday night, they have a parking lot party for all the campers there. Double Barrel, a band, will be playing there from 6 to 10 on Friday night. So if you're going to go camp, want to go there Friday night. I did this last year with my camper. It was a good time, especially if the weather's good. And then you got the Livingston Lawn Care parking lot party on Saturday as well. We're going to be a part of that. We'll be doing a live show from there for a little bit. We had a blast last year. We had guest bartenders feeding us drinks, and we had a great time. But you got DJ Bill Capetta. You got food trucks. You got the kids' corner. They'll be giving away bikes and scooters. They got raffle baskets. I got one that was provided by Nasty Nate last year. I won that. There'll be a lot of fire trucks, ambulances, police cars, and sprint cars and drivers on display. From 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. before the races on Saturday. It was a blast last year. Looking forward to it. And like I said, there's a lot going in to just the money going into what the race is going to be as well. Max Stack, Racing Through Time Antiques, the Hangry Hanger and Memory Brandon Little, Trone's Tag Title and Notary, Shorty's Funnels Cakes, Mike Small Engine Repair, Lehman Automotive, TK Motorsports, Bricker's Fries, Whitecomb's Produce, Dyno Tech Controls, and Hanover Autocraft are your heat race sponsors, putting in more money into the heat races. There's tire sponsors. 19 right rear tires are going to be given away as of now. 11 for the 410s and 8 for the 358s. A lot of sponsors for that get putting money in and providing the rear tires for that. Thornton Chevrolet, Livingston Lawn Care, Racers Used Parts Warehouse, L&M Tire and Wheel, Don Ott Racing Engines, Golf Cart Services, Steve Carr Motorsports, T&N Solutions, Bollinger Septic Services, Jeff Barnes Collision Center, Magoo's Motorcycles, Smuck Lumber, Jeff and Kendra Bretzman, and Lincoln Speedway, all providing right rear tires here for these teams. You also got other sponsor. York Excavating has a $500 Fast Time Award for the 410s. Lincoln Speedway Fire Crew will also be providing money for the hard charger for both the 410 and 358s. $350 for the 410s and $300 for the 358s. And then Beer Hill Gang, $100 each for each of the first 3 non-qualifiers for both divisions. So that's $600 they're going to be giving away to the first 3 non-qualifiers in both divisions. Awesome of them to do that. Big purse for the 358s on top of what the 410s will have. $2,000 to win, $1,025 for second, $400 minimum to start the 358 race. This is a much bigger purse than what they're, a little bit of an elevated purse than what they usually get. So awesome for these sponsors: Snellbaker Electric, Dirty Deeds, Mickley Orchard and Farm Market, Mama's Pizza, Dean's Auto Plaza, and Livingston Lawn Care for throwing in the extra money for this 358 purse. That it's just really, really awesome for them to do this. It's already a big race for the 410s, but they really make it a full event with the camping all weekend, bumping up the 358s, making everybody feel involved. It's a great time. Circle it down. Make sure you get there. And again, if you're interested in sponsoring a lap, they are looking for lap sponsors. $150 for a lap in the 410s and $100 a lap in the 358s. If you are interested, you could reach out to us. You could reach out to Don Livingston. You could reach out probably to Lincoln Speedway. Let us know, and we want to get all these laps filled up for what sponsors help continue to make this event bigger and bigger every year. Really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we had a great time at this last year. We interviewed some drivers. We interviewed Miss Lincoln Speedway, Maddie Stevens at the time, and I think she's actually going to make a return appearance as Miss Lincoln Speedway for the weekend, from what I saw in some capacity. I mean, she's at Lincoln every weekend, but we interviewed a retiring driver at the time, Scott Fisher, 358 driver. So we'll come in, we'll talk to some people. I think we even had non-drivers sit down, not just Maddie, but didn't we have?
Ryan Smith came on for a little bit.
Ryan came on. Yeah, that's right. Ryan came
on. Joey Amantia joined us for a while. He was there.
Okay. Was that day? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. That's a fun day. We do these things live and they're completely unscripted. So it's comedy at times. And, but we have a great time with it, and it's such a great event. And, man, I tell you what, like, Lincoln does a really nice job with these events, and there's 2 of them that stand out right now. Right. And the Sterner has been fantastic, and this one, and then that Steve Smith race coming up, and it's a lot of extra money thrown at these teams, for what they do. And, listen, I know it's not cheap getting to the racetrack, and be thankful for these things. When these things and these teams, they're pretty vocal about the payouts. And that's not unfair. It's not unfair that they're vocal. I get it. I totally get it. Make sure you're thanking these sponsors, and make sure you're supporting these sponsors, whether it's fans, drivers. Get out to this thing and thank these people that are supporting it. Make sure if you're in the pits and you see the track people, as drivers, thank them for it, because there's a lot of hard work and in the background to make this happen. It doesn't just appear. So this will be a fun one for sure. I'm excited to get out there early that day and see if Jimmy, if you're going to go down and camp, I know you're going to be there the night before. See how hungover you are for the live show.
Yeah. Yeah, we got there really late last year on Friday. It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock. We got there, and it'll probably be about this. I'm hoping to get there a little bit earlier this year, on Friday. But yeah, they had a band and everything last year. They're doing it again this year. Just all around good time. It's over in the overflow parking where the campers are. It's not like right at the track. Like, I know a lot of the Lincoln stuff is usually like right at the track or in the pits, but this is outside of the track. So just make the walk over after you park and make sure you check it out. A lot of cool things to win. There's a lot of raffles and everything there. Like I said, all the stuff that's on display. We'll be talking about this for the next couple of weeks as well, leading up to it. But we did for sure also, like I said, we want to make sure if anybody is interested in sponsoring a lap, reach out, please.
Us, if we're the easiest people, the is the easiest, we'll make sure you get to the right place. Just reach out to us if you don't know.
Yes. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to this weekend. I can also say that I survived the mud of the Glen 2026.
I'm glad you got
Barely.
out. So were you
Barely.
did you park in
It-
a precarious spot? Like, was it a little sketchy?
They had to shut our parking lot down, parking people in, because it looked pretty dry. And then you would get into a point and you just sunk in. I helped push out about 9 cars yesterday. My clothes were just, I just bought a new Lance Deweese hoodie on Friday and it was just mud
Oh.
all over it.
So you had to wear that all day then?
I wasn't too bad early on. It was after, because then there was cars beached kind of in our way. We couldn't get out. So, and they only had so many tractors going around. There was one guy, he was a military, I think he was in the army, or maybe, I don't know. He was military. He brought his truck and just started on his own, helping, pulling people out, getting down in the mud to get down underneath the cars to get them hooked up and everything. Just starting pushing. So we would push and he would pull, and just awesome of him to do that. Like, just, it was cool to see, meet a bunch of new people, met a bunch of Canadians up there that
That's
were pretty
awesome.
cool. And but it was just, there were people that, like, the amount of mud that was just caked on cars as you came out because people were just spinning their tires so much. It was pretty awful. And then we walked around the track and the mud was pretty bad. Saw the tent 100 feet in the air that made it out onto the track. It was a great time. The race was great. Great time. I highly recommend going up to Watkins Glen. I'm glad it's going back to September next year, though, so we don't have to deal with this shit, hopefully. So
Maybe.
yeah. So that's what we'll do. Drink it and dump it, and that'll be my dump it. Will be the mud at Watkins Glen. And my drink it's gonna go to. Oh, I had somebody in mind. I can't remember. But I'm gonna go Troy. 2 top 5s with the World of Outlaws. Good for him. Also Logan Rumsey with an awesome run on Tuesday. I'll give a shout out to those 2 guys. How about you?
I will drink it to. I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do 2, and it's Williams Grove Speedway for getting 2 nights of racing in.
Yeah,
and it's Casey Kane. I don't know when I'll get to do Casey Kane drink it in the rest of the show ever. That's pretty cool. Great story. Cool local car at Williams Grove. I don't even care what car it was in. It was at Williams Grove. We got to see it. We were witness. It was awesome. Dump it. I'm going to dump it to Ashton Torgerson because
we forgot to talk about that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. I think everybody knows the news there.
Lincoln's the killer. I dump it to Ashton because, man, I don't want to be hated on more than I already have today at times. Not that I've gotten a lot, but I dump it to Ashton. I hope he lands on his feet in a ride that he can succeed in, that supports him the way he deserves as a driver, because he is a good race car driver. So wishing him the best for sure.
Scott Pogowski also lost his ride after this past weekend in the Three Stooges 51. So they are parting ways. So it's another driver out of a Outlaw ride. Some people started putting together, on social media, maybe Torgerson goes there. I don't know.
Really odd.
I don't know.
Timing. If that ends up happening, I mean, it's kind of shitty. Like, if that happens, and it's just, oh, look how simple and clean this went. Did that owner of that 51 be like, hey, there's a better free agent, I better go get him? That's shitty too. I hope not.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I hope not.
If that is the case, but if that is what ends up happening, we'll see. I think Ashton really proved himself this weekend. I mean, getting in that 99M new deal and getting in there and getting a top 10 with the World of Outlaws. I mean, in a new car was pretty impressive. So he definitely deserves a shout out there.
Honestly, the best run they've had in weeks. Go look at his recent results. They were struggling. They were on the struggle bus hard. So, good luck to Ashton for sure.
Clayton Meyer says, no better party in NASCAR than the Glen. Moves to September next year. Hopefully not Tuskegee weekend. That's the only thing I'm nervous of, because I've been going now to Watkins Glen now every year. I have a great time, and I'm happy it's in the Chase. I just hope it's not the same week, because if it's Tusky, I'm going to Tusky. Sorry. I would say Pocono is a pretty damn good party though too. Pocono is great. Can't wait for that in a couple weeks. All right, Race Nelson, drink it to Casey Kane Friday and dump it to the road work on the way to the Grove. Yeah, how about that? I got detoured 15 times to get there. It felt like going
Really?
through like all these different side roads. Yeah, it was just so much traffic coming in. It just kept changing on me. So it's just one of those things. Amanda Browse, drink it to Casey Kane win in the 39M and dump it to Freddie getting run over by Macedo. Absolutely. We agree with those. Clayton Myers says, going Midwest, drink it to McCarl winning a ripper at Davenport. Dump it to a Tim's Lapper incident, wiping out the top 4 in one corner at Houston. It's worth rewatching both. Go Posse. Thanks, T22. Thank you, Clayton.
Thanks,
yeah, I saw
Clayton.
that when I saw the top 4, I'm like, oh, it's just a 358 feature at Lincoln, because we just had that same exact thing kind of happen a couple of weeks ago, where the top 4 all got taken out in the same wreck. Doug Kreiser, drink it to both Williams Grove features going caution free. That's a good one. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Oh, and Mandy already just said it here. I mean, we had to obviously drink it to Brett Perigo. I'm telling you right now, if he wins at Port Royal during Weikert Week, because they are running with them Saturday night, it's on.
Oh,
Trust me,
buddy.
I know he really wants a Port Royal win really bad, and all of us are going to be there. So, and we're going to be camping there that weekend. We'll burn it down 100%. So, but she says, drink it. It was indeed a fucking Casey Kane Friday. Hell yeah. Brett Perigo win. Sprint car Hershey. Jesus Christ. Hershey sprint car experience, and the drivers who took part with shout out Buddy Schweibens for being super cool. All of our posse for their efforts this week, especially our podium finishers. 2 nonstop races at Williams Grove. Dump it. Torn up race cars everywhere. High Limit, NARC, Lincoln, Husitz. Freddie and Cole Macedo. Jake Andriotti's rough week at the NARC race. Seems like he's okay though. Silly season shenanigans with Boguski and Torgerson, gravel winning Saturday and claiming the Morgan Cup for the Outlaws. That last one is really what you got to dump it out to for sure. Tyler Murray, drink it to Casey Kane Friday and getting 55 uninterrupted laps in both nights. Dump it to the Outlaws, taking the cup, and Lance Dweese having terrible luck this weekend. Yeah, he was one of our favorites, and he just Saturday night, you had a bunch of cars. Chase Dietz had to do a motor change. Lance had some mechanical issues. Somebody else had to do a motor change too. Who else did a motor change?
Cole
right
Macedo.
before time trials. Cole Macedo, right? Yeah. On Saturday night, right before time trials. Dirt Track and drink it to Casey Kane. Didn't expect him to get 2 top 5s at the Grove, let alone a win. Very much agreed. Dump it to the pile up on the start of the late model feature at BAPS. Yeah, that looked pretty big, Jay-Z.
Brother, it was coming right at me, and I was at the inside of the fence. Like it was like I was like, "Oh shit, I'm getting out of here!" Like they weren't going to come through the fence, but I was just like, "That's like it was like 19 cars crashing toward the inside off of turn 4 at BAPS." And I'm like, "Holy shit, that's a lot of race cars." I didn't even see the beginning of it, but it was like everybody but like 6 cars was in the damn thing. It was wild. I don't even. There were some comments on my post of it about the leader kind of didn't go well, like playing. I don't know if it was on. I don't know, but it
Like
sounded like
playing
it started
games
for
or
the front
something.
row, and they all just like piled into each other, crazy. And listen, dude, those late models got to get their shit together because it was far, far, far too long to finish a late model race. It looked like that short late model race at the Lucas race down in Hagerstown where they had 7 laps and they checkered flagged it. It felt like that's what should have happened. I was like, oh my God, there's another yellow. Listen, I was pointing out a guy with a flat tire under yellow, right? He's running with a flat tire. He's driving around. And I'm like, they're flat tire. And I saw him waving like, do I have a flat tire? Nope. He stays in line. They throw the green, and guess what? Out of 2, he stops. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. This was at like the 12th yellow. And I'm like, we just caused yellow for something I saw coming while he's rolling around for the last 6 laps under yellow from the last bullshit caution. And I'm like, guys, what are we doing? Like, pull in. You got a flat tire. Where are you going to go? and he didn't even have a chance to pull off the racetrack, just stopped. And I'm like, oh my God, what
Uh,
are we doing? Meanwhile, I'm watching the Williams Grove feature on my phone. And I was like, the way the night started, we were on a roll. Maybe I could like sneak up to Williams Grove, watch the feature. Nope. Your
Nope.
feature ended when ours finally got done. And it was features only. They ran
Yeah,
hot
those
lap time trials for everybody, and it was features only.
Was it a
And-
Stardom all too, right?
And it was start them all, but there was only one division had over 24, and it was the late models. They had 27. The Legends, for whatever reason, I don't know if they had a tour race somewhere or whatever, but there wasn't that many. But like, I was like, okay, I see the time. I see where Williams Grove is. I see what's going on. Maybe, I'm halfway. I'm like, okay. No. Y'all took the checker flag about the last time our checker flag was done. And I was like, all right. But yeah, that was a rough one, man. That was a rough one. He was there. He saw it too, man. That was a rough one. And they've had some good features. Listen, it won't be like that every week, but man, when it gets those weeks, it is tough.
Doug Kreiser says, dump it for me, never going to learn. Getting to Lincoln on a weekday is different than Saturday traffic-wise.
A little bit, isn't it? A little bit. And getting out of an outlaw
Young
race at Lincoln is a little different.
Yeah. It looked like a great crowd there on Tuesday, man. I mean, they always
good.
do, but
It
looked like a really, really good. Jack Young, drink at the Perigo, dump at the Jay-Z missing out Saturday at the Grove.
Yeah, man.
And that's it. As always, drink it to all of you. Gotta give another shout out to Daniel Keller, who gave a super chat earlier on. I know we've turned those on, and I don't think we've ever actually advertised that they're there, but thank you so much for that, Daniel Keller. Forever one of the goated viewers of this show for sure. So thank you so much. But you're all very special to us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. If you're listening next day. When did I skip you? I didn't skip you. Well, because I didn't skip you, Santos. I just don't want to read about David Gravel.
Yeah, no. If it's
I don't
a dump
see
it,
yours.
it doesn't have him. Oh, I didn't see it.
I don't see his.
Let me see here. I see I'll be there early.
Yeah, the last thing I saw you say, I'll be there early for your guys' show, which we appreciate. Thank you.
Baston changed an engine too. He did say. I don't see it, buddy. Did you do it early? A little premature. Drink it or dump it. Drink it or dump it.
Could be. We yap a lot.
Yeah, I don't see it. Well, either way, his
we
is
know,
drink it to that guy,
David Gravel,
and then dump it to some other guy, and then as a alternate. No, what's the word he uses for T2T with another great show?
Yeah. Santos is the
right.
best.
Did I get it? Did you drink it to someone, dump it to someone, and then right before Tyler?
Right before
Did
Tyler
glitch out? I have Mandy
it
right there.
Have.
I have Doug. I have Clayton.
Because I see Mandy's book here.
Yeah, I don't. Sorry, brother. We don't have it on our chat. It didn't come across for us.
Yeah, I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Copy paste that shit. Copy paste it. So you want to call in? You want to call in and phone in? You know, phone a friend?
No, he can't. No Gravel was mentioned. All right. What? Well, now I'm interested.
Well, now I'm intrigued. Yes, I'm. You know what? I'm bought in.
Because I could have been sure it would have been Drink It to the Big Game Motorsports #2 and David Gravel.
Right here. Hold on.
Right here.
You're replying to a chat that I don't have. Hold on. Let me go to the Facebook. Whoops, that's not it.
Yeah, maybe you could see it there. I can't see it on this feed.
Oh yeah, I can see it on. That's crazy. On the Facebook, you can see it. Oh shit, where'd it go? Drink it to Kane for the dub. Troy for his Williams Grove run. Ashton's weekend in the 99M, and Williams Grove getting both nights in. Dump it to how Saturday went for Lance and Dietz, the Macedo Raymer incident, and the torn up cars at Lincoln. Honorable mention, as always, to you guys for another great show with the horns up emoji.
Hell yeah! Thank you, Santos, and appreciate no David Gravel mention. We're still a little hurt about it, so we don't want to talk about it. Wax their ass on Saturday. I'll give them that, but that's okay.
Yeah, true. We'll be okay. We've
be
been
right
here before.
Dump it to us for not being able to find Santos's comment. But all right, we're gonna get out of here. Next Monday, we're gonna have a good show planned for you. Hopefully, we get all this racing in this weekend here, and it's all really good. We're gonna talk about that, but we have a huge week of racing next week. Not just because of Weicker, but we got like a mini speed week going on next week as well. So look forward to that. Thank you all for tuning in again. Got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Karchner Logistics. And also, if you are interested in sponsoring a lap, please reach out for the Fallen First Responders race at Lincoln. Again, we'll see you guys next week.